Greetings, this is Tyler Fenn, and this is a tutorial on how to be successful at Minecraft. Well, first of all, we're going to just be talking about survival mostly in this, and just create a new world, or go to create a new world, type in whatever you want. This will be good times for no reason. Now, when playing Minecraft, you have multiple game modes. You have survival, hardcore, and creative. Survival is the classic way to play, and this is what I'm going to be mainly talking about. Whereas hardcore is survival mode, but you only have one life, and it is a lot harder, because if you die, the world is automatically deleted. And then there's creative. Creative is more for creative people, obviously, who like to build and don't want the restrictions of survival mode to build these buildings. Now, we have some world options. We can type in a seed, and for this one, we shall have it Talon, for no apparent reason. Now, you can have generated instructions, which is villages and dungeons, which is just things to explore and thus fun times to have. You can have those on or off. There's different world types. There's default, flat, and large biomes. Large biomes is obviously bigger biomes. Default is default, and super flat is for creative players who just want a flat area to build their buildings. There are cheats where you can use game mode or change your game mode from survival to creative, or the other way around. Also, there is a bonus chest, and that gives you an extra items, but we'll leave that on for now, or we'll leave that off for now. So let's get to it. Let's create this world. Now, when creating a world, it creates it randomly. You'll never have the same two identical worlds. So if you find an awesome area in one place, you're probably never going to have that happen again. So use it. Now, the first thing you would like to do when you start up a Minecraft game is first collect wood from trees. Now, I'm at inconvenience because I spawned in a pasture area where there is very few trees. But that is okay, because I now have more access to food. To get food, you want to go and hit some animals till they drop whatever they drop. From cows, you'll get raw beef and hide. And then there's also chickens, where you'll get feathers and chicken. And there's also pigs, which will just drop pork chops. Now, you want to collect in the first day a good amount of food and a good amount of logs so that you have something to do. And then I'll be back when I have a good amount of food and a good amount of logs to show you what to do after. And I am back. Now, before where I spawned, there weren't trees. I've walked for about a couple minutes now, and I finally found some trees. Now, there are many kinds of trees. As you can see in the background over there, there are brown trees, or oak. These would be birch. I prefer birch because they grow really nice and just straight up. But that is my personal preference, and you can gather wood from any kind of tree. It does matter as well, because the different kinds of logs will give you different colored wooden planks. But I'll show that in a little while when we're making our home or base. And yeah. Alright, so now it's nighttime, and the problem with nighttime in survival mode is that mobs will spawn. Now, mobs are enemies that you don't want to fight this early on when you don't have anything. So what I would advise is that you dig yourself into a wall. Now, this stone, you can't mine very quickly by hitting it with your hand or, in this case, seeds. So what I would recommend is you take the logs you harvested and turn them into wooden planks. Now, you can take 4 of these and make them into a crafting bench. Now, when you've made it into a crafting bench, you can take 2, just like so, and make yourself sticks. Sticks are used to make tools. Now, the only wooden tool I would advise you to make is a wooden pickaxe, because you'll be getting cobblestone very soon. and that is the next tier of tools. And when you build your base, I'd say you should be able to get this done in the first night, is clear out in the side of a hill or build a house that is 10 by 10 by 3. So 10 wide, 10 into the mountain or wall, and 3 high. And I will be back when I'm done. Alright, now that you have your base carved out, you are going to need to be able to light it. Now, I have a stone pick, but you can mine coal, which is this. It looks like stone, except it has some black veins through it. Now, coal is used for primarily 2 things. A, torches, but more importantly, for furnaces. It is used to cook your food, your iron ore, just anything that needs to be cooked goes in your furnace. So, yes. So after I get all this mined out, I will be right back. And I am back. So now to get torches, you take your sticks and you put them in your crafting area, and then you just put the coal right above it, and you'll get 4 torches for 1 coal and 1 stick. So now you can just go into your house, or cave in this instance, and just put them around the walls. Like so. And then you'll be set for light. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to cook your food. And to do that, you'll need a furnace. So you just take 8 cobblestone and you put it like so. And that will give you a furnace, and you can put it down, and then to open your furnace, you right click, and then you'd put your coal in the bottom, and then you'd put your food over top. And I'll be right back to show you some differences in food. Alright, now that we got some cooked beef, or some steak as it is called, I can show you the difference between that and raw beef. Well, I'll tell you because I don't have enough hunger left. But when you eat raw beef, you only get 1.5 hunger back. But when you have steak, when you eat it, it will give you 3 or I think it's 3.5 back. So that's an increase of 2 hunger back. And that's at least, and that is really good. So the next thing we'd want to do is build a chest, because we're going to need to store our stuff. And to build a chest, it is exactly like a furnace. You take 8 wood, except with wood, and you just put it in a square. Now, I would recommend building 2 right off the bat, because that is just more applicable, in my opinion, because now what you can do is you put 1 and then 2, and that makes a double chest. The difference between, or the chest, one chest can hold the top part of your inventory, but not your hotbar. So when you put another chest beside it, you get twice the storage. And then you can just store your cobblestone, your dirt, your extra items, really, in here, and so you don't lose them. The next thing I'm going to show you is armor. Now, there is 4 pieces to armor. You have your helmet, your boots, your leggings, and your chest plate. Now, the most important piece is definitely the chest piece. It gives you the most armor out of all 4. The next would probably be the pants, and then the helmet, because those use the most resources, so they give you the biggest bonuses. Next, I'll show you I'll explain more about mining. I almost forgot. To equip your armor, you just drag it up and put it in, or A faster way is you can hold the shift key and click on it and it will put it automatically there. The only downside to that is you cannot shift click your armor into the slot if there's already existing armor equipped. You will have to remove it manually and then you can shift click it in. Now, before I start mining, there's two main tools you will need for mining: pickaxes and shovels. I've explained how to make a pickaxe already, and the only difference for a shovel is that you just put one smack dab in the middle of the top row above two sticks. Now, when mining with stone tools, I suggest taking a minimum of 3 each, just because they aren't the most durable, but they have a higher speed than wooden tools and a higher durability as well. Now, when you're mining, you want to have a lookout of 3 things: iron, coal, and diamonds. Those are the 3 major ores that you want to collect, and I'll show each one as I find them, alongside as the ones that aren't as important but are still there. Now, to collect wood, it's faster to collect it with an axe, and that works by putting 3 stone, wood, or whatever you're using in an axe formation, obviously, and I will be right back to show you what to do next. Alright, now that you're ready to mine, there are 2 ways I prefer to mine. The first is the more conventional way, it's just steps down, which is you just go to the bottom and you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and you create another step. And that's fairly convenient because you don't really need anything but torches to make this work. Now, this is iron ore. It's one better for tools than stone is, and it's better armor than leather, but it's not as accessible as leather or wooden tools. Now, the next way is strip mining, and which is just a straight down hole into all the way down to bedrock, which bedrock is you cannot mine through it. And I got fortunate and I found iron right away in both of mine by coincidence. And I will be back when I find either diamond or something else that I have not showed you. Redstone is pretty much the electricity of Minecraft. So it has many uses. You can make automatic doors and or hidden doors, and it's just awesome. But more importantly, this is diamonds. Now, as you can see, I already have some, but my recording messed up a little, and now I have to do a bunch of the mining stuff over again. But diamond is the most important item in the game. It is the strongest for tools, and it has the longest durability and the quickest speed for mining, other than gold tools. But gold tools have a major problem where they are too weak to do any sufficient mining. Now I will be back to show you some gold, or lapis lazuli, whichever I find first. Alright, so this is gold, and it's about as rare as iron, so you're not going to find, or you'll find just about the same amount, and it has very low durability, and just things like that. It's not the best for anything, but it is very useful for making a golden apple, which is just very convenient for getting life back in a tight situation. Now, I'll be back when I find some lapis lazuli. Alright, so this is lapis lazuli. And lapis lazuli doesn't have that many uses. It's mostly used for blue dye, for dyeing wool or leather armor. But other than that, it doesn't really have a substantial use. And I will be right back to continue on with the next thing. Alright, so now that it is nighttime, we are going to go hunt some mobs. Now, there are many kinds of mobs, and we're going to start off with the most generic, the zombie mod. Now, zombies are mindless, and they just attack you no matter what, even if they are going to die from sun, which burns them. Now, zombies will drop two things. The first is rotten flesh, and rotten flesh will poison you 50% of the time. And what poison does is it makes you hungry faster than normal. So there's no real way to get it out of it. You just have to wait till it's done. Now this is a spider. Spiders are unique because they are only 1 block high, so they can get at you if you just build a bar in front of you trying to protect yourself from them. Spiders will drop two things: string or spider eyes. String is used for making a fishing line or a fishing rod, which is used for fishing, which is another source of food that you can get. The spider eye is used for making potions, which is an advanced Minecraft thing, and I won't be touching on that in this video. Now this is a skeleton. Skeletons will die in sunlight as well, and they use a bow. Now they will drop three things: arrows, bows, or bones. Bows have a very low chance of being dropped though, so don't get your hopes up. Now this is a creeper. This is probably the most famous mob in the game, because when it gets close to you, it will hiss and explode, like so. And that can be very devastating for you if you are killed by one, because it will also destroy your house if it happens by it. Now, creepers will drop gunpowder, and gunpowder is used for making TNT. And TNT is obviously explosive. So there are no real applications for it other than to have a good time. And I will be back when I find the last mob, which is the Endermen. Alright, so you see that black tall thing in the distance? That is an Enderman. Now Endermen are scary because when you look at them, they lock onto you and they start to freak out. So the best thing to do if you're not prepared to fight is get to some water, because Endermen get hurt by water and they cannot go in it. So it is the best thing to do. And when you hit them, they will flash away. So the best thing to do is just sit in some water and wait for him to go away, because if he enters the water, he will get damaged. Now, the thing about Endermen is that they are 3 blocks tall instead of 2. So you can build a platform where you can stand under and they cannot get to you. So that is a good thing. Now Endermen will drop Ender Pearls. Ender Pearls are used for teleporting away, essentially. They will, when you throw one, they will fly out and they will teleport you to wherever they land. So that is very convenient. Now there's one more mob, and that is the slime, which is right there. Now slimes can grow bigger, so they can be as 3 blocks big, and they will drop slime balls. And every time, if a slime is really big, it will split into 3 smaller ones, and then those 3 will also split one more time, thus making it's a great way to get EXP if you can find a good amount of them. Now I'm gonna go, and when I kill this Enderman, I will be back to show you what the Ender Pearl looks like and does. Alright, so the Enderman got away and I did not get an Ender Pearl, but essentially they just teleport you around, and that's all they really are for, other than if you want to go to the end, but I will not explain that in this video because that is fairly complicated. Now that we have talked about all the basics, it seems like a good place to end. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial and you learned a lot, or just had fun watching it. So have a good evening and craft on.